Welcome to another episode of the FirstCall Facility Focus Forum. I'm your host, Rob Vaughan, here with episode number 4. As we are discussing things going on in the facility management world and varying topics. Thus far, we've discussed safety protocols, HVAC lighting and controls, and the important concept of integration. And today, I am so happy to have a great guest, someone I've known for a long time. And our timing is perfect with ConnexFM coming up. But Bill Yanek, CEO of Connex. Bill, it's great to have you.
Awesome. Thanks for the invitation. Rob, you've been on our daily grind. I'm glad to return the serve today, to be on the receiving end of the questions. To be fun.
Absolutely. Well, we won't throw any major curveballs at you, and I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bill, Connex is coming up here. I know you're super excited. It's a key time of year. I appreciate you taking the time. But, Connex has been around for the better part of 3 decades now as the industry leader in facilities world. I always think back to, what makes Connex great. Talk about what you guys do to create a great experience for people.
So thanks for the question. You might be surprised. I'm a little biased for what we do here at ConnexFM. We love it. We're a 365-day-a-year trade association in support of multi-site facility management. If you take our biggest event, which is going to happen in just a few short weeks, like you said, it has it all. Chance for huge, big networking groups like the opening reception and the trade show floor. We've got the Quick Connect, which is the speed dating. And of course, we know our members on that and the Gaylord property, the Gaylord Palms will be the individual networking also. So you can get all 3. And then the rest of the year with our FM lives and our experiences and our bashes throughout the country really comes down to connecting. I know we're going to talk a little bit about the brand of ConnexFM, but one of the things we look at is we need to connect you suppliers with facility managers from all different verticals. If we are doing that, we're succeeding. In our biggest venue, it's done in a real big way. We're going to talk about that in a moment. But we are here to connect FMs with suppliers.
Well, you've been an industry leader with it. This will be CLS Facility Services, I believe, 29th year. We've been coming since day one when I think it was just a handful of companies, and now we see 300-400 booths and more. And it's really grown. It's a tremendous way to network, and we're excited to bring our First Call group team this year for the first time, and I know they're looking forward to it. So let's talk a little bit about the development of Connex. You've been around for 3 decades now, and you made a big name change that I remember vividly with a toast and everything back in 2019 from Prism to ConnexFM. Tell me a little bit about what that's meant for your team and what's created for everyone.
Well, as you mentioned, Rob, 30 years ago, we were the Professional Retail Store Maintenance Association, came out of a few traditional bricks and mortar retailers who thought that the multi-site facility management needed its own trade association. So in about 2017, mid-2017, we started the rebrand process, brought in an outside consultant. I mentioned earlier in the interview about what our true mission was. They looked at everything that Prism was doing at the time and boiled it down to connecting FMs with suppliers. Now, why we thought the name change needed, 20, 30 years ago, the facility manager, it was normally a guy, but he or she was the best fixer at maintenance. And then they became the manager but the FM or facility management now has become a career path, and it's not necessarily maintenance, it's facility management. And so the Prism name itself didn't really accurately reflect what we wanted to portray as an organization, which is why we went away from PRSM. But also, as you talked about integration, and I'll mention a little bit later about convergence of commercial real estate and facility management and the like. FM just no longer was just about traditional bricks and mortar. That's always going to be the heart and soul. We have about 850 member companies at ConnexFM, and most of them are your traditional retailers. But we also have other verticals. We have a large healthcare vertical, financial vertical, food and beverage vertical, a technology section. And so to bring that umbrella or maybe more inclusive net, instead of just calling us retail stores, it's facility management and multi-site facilities. Thus, ConnexFM, and we came up with Connex as the connection, the FM back to the heart and soul of facility managers. FMs are at the heart of all we do.
Yeah, and I'll never forget very vividly at that show just hearing you guys introduce the term change or fail. and
Yep.
you recognize that change was important. You did that. And I think that's so pertinent because we've seen change just impact the facilities world on every side, on the facility manager side, the vendor side, the field partner side, so much. So I've probably stolen that line a lot in the last 5 or 6 years since you
Yeah.
said it. But it really is change or fail. You have to be able to adapt and modify. And I think so many of us are doing that every day. And the networking we do at Connex is tremendous. I'm going to go off topic a little bit, but it's so pertinent because one of my favorite things at ConnexFM is the keynote speaker, and
Yeah.
you have the unique role of CEO as meeting some pretty famous people, and I'll never forget Magic Johnson, Lou Holtz, the old Notre Dame coach, and then we've
Yeah.
had the great Shark Tank guys with Damon and Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful, who I loved getting to meet. And you've gotten to meet all these guys. And of course, this year we have the iconic Coach K, Mike
Yep.
Krzyzewski from Duke, who I cannot wait to see. But Bill, you get to meet all these guys. You get to interview them, maybe even have a drink together. Do you have any favorite memory or anecdote that comes from working with these celebrities and guys that have just been great speakers for us?
As you might guess, they're all a little bit different. They've all, by and large, we've been so lucky. There are some out there, keynotes and famous folks that aren't too. But even behind the scenes, it's interesting. I'll start with, Mr. Wonderful, Kevin O'Leary. He has a very he gets on those folks on Shark Tank, but very easy to work with. Took the time to understand our industry, and we couldn't have been more impressed with him. Maybe to jump back to you mentioned Magic Johnson. There's an alliteration for you. That was when we were just coming out of COVID, and so we wanted someone high energy, and then another guy who obviously world famous, but when you talk to him in the green room before, he was asking me about my kids' soccer games, like what my kids play. He's one of those guys, as you say, that when he talk to you, you're like the most important person in the world. I'm trying not to flub because I'm like, Magic Johnson's asking me about my son's soccer game, and I'm like sweating in front of Magic Johnson. Really cool stuff. As someone who aligned with our mission more than anyone else probably was Mike Rowe because he's such in the skilled trades. And in addition, he's a performer. He did a little bit of opera for us, just remarkable. We've been lucky all along, and I am a little biased too. Coach K and I share West Point as an alma mater, so he'll
Okay.
probably haze me a little bit in the background, but Coach K is going to be fantastic as well. Again, bridging. We hope to bring someone in, let's be frank, our folks want to see someone famous, someone who's done world-class stuff, but also the link to what you do in business, right? And so Mike Rowe is probably that most direct link, or even Kevin O'Leary. Magic Johnson was motivational about world-class organizations. Coach K is going to bring a lot of that, I know, as we've talked to him beforehand, and he has bridged corporate America, athletics at the highest, and maybe a little preview. And you think about how tough it is to coach the Kobe Bryants and the LeBrons of the world. And he brought that up about how, think about what it's like, even if you're Coach K, to walk in and tell Kobe Bryant you're taking bad shots, the best player in the world at the time. And so
Yes.
everyone has a perspective like that. Even Coach K, has those challenges. He's going to bring a lot of that. Going to tell some funny stories, and we'll get to know him a lot better.
I'm very excited. Literally all the speakers have been great. Mike Rowe was phenomenal,
Yeah.
cracked us up with some great stories. And they all have one thing in common. They're all amazing leaders, leaders of people, teams, organizations, and that's something that we see a ton of at Connex FM is great leadership and something that, I think we all take a lot of pride in as our career develops. And kind of bridges me to my next point. You've been working in the facilities world for a long time now with Connex FM and met a lot of different people. We've seen a lot of change in recent years and probably more change to come. Bill, as you look at that and you see the molding and changing of Connex FM and your network and everything, what are some of the most dynamic changes, you've seen and what do you think we have to look forward to in the future with that?
Let's start with when we talked about the rebranding and the increasing professionalism of FM as a career. There's a joke that no one grows up wanting to be an FM. Although in the built environment, FM has never been more important. And so in that convergence of FM with construction, with loss prevention, it is just that convergence is increasing. You talked about integration. Technology is a huge part of that. And one of the things we're trying to do at Connex FM is to be that knowledge resource for our FMs and our suppliers too, because let's just talk AI. a small little topic, right? That's everywhere. And as the saying goes, AI may not take your job, but someone who knows how to use AI probably will take your job if you aren't. So we're trying to push our industry forward, or hopefully be the resource for our industry. You're going to see a lot of that at National Conference, at our Future Built Conference later in the year. Again, encouraging RFMs to dive in to the smart facility space, because as you know, I'm sure in your neck of the woods, that's the future of FM. And if you embrace it as a tool, as someone to help you, then you're going to be way ahead of your competitors.
It's literally changing our world, and I think all of us are using it more every day. I have yet to Google good podcast questions to ask guests on an FM
There you go.
focus, but maybe if I'm ever stumped, I'll know what to do. But no, I really appreciate your insight there, and couldn't agree anymore. Again, back to your tenure and everything
Yeah.
you've worked with, as CEO, you get to work with a great nonprofit organization, and you guys are so well-rounded, and you have a great team. What are some of your favorite parts about your job and what you get to do and the many people you work with?
So I'm a recovering attorney. I went back to law school but I found out early in my career, I did not want to be chained to a desk. So I did some lobbying and then got into association management. But I love this about ConnexFM, that I am not chained to a desk. And I hope for our members, it is recognized and appreciated that I'm not just sitting down in Irving, Texas all the time at our headquarters. We get out and see our folks on the ground, whether it's our events or not. And I love that part of it, and our engaged members. It starts with our board. It goes with our council committee leaders like you, the daily grind, these podcasts. This is not a one of those staid old smoking room associations, right? It's highly energized. People want to get together, and back to that connection. As long as our members are connecting, I think the whole thing works. And the future is bright for ConnexFM. This is my 10th year, unbelievably. I came in 2016 to Prisma, a very different FM world then, and the world changed through COVID, but the future is bright for ConnexFM and certainly for facility management writ large.
No, and I can't endorse it enough. CLS has been fortunate to not only network with, some amazing companies and moreover, some amazing individuals, but we've been able to meet clients at ConnexFM over the years that, have become clients that we've had for 5, 10, even 15 years now. And that means the world to us. It's why we've come back since day one and never missed a show. And so we're certainly excited, very excited for Orlando and a great venue at the Gaylord this year. Hey, I'm going to throw you a curveball. It's an easy one though, and something you'll appreciate. But I know you're a monster Kansas City Chiefs fan, which will make many people smile and many people frown.
Yeah.
With Patrick's injury, it was a tough year last year. I know it's probably hard for you to have a year where you don't go to the Super Bowl, very rare. But are the Chiefs going to bounce back this year? They signed Kenneth Walker. Should we expect big things, Bill?
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, I'm a homer. I'm on the bandwagon. There have been times in my life, I've been a Chiefs fan for nearly 30 years. We've had some very lean years. So I'm taking advantage when they aren't so lean and jump on. We got to get Patrick's knee better. Hopefully Walker brings a running game, and in the NFL the margin for error is so thin, as we see. I mean, you can fall from Super Bowl champ to nothing. But yeah, and apologies to those Eagles fans. I think we have probably mostly Eagles. So who's your team? Who's your team?
No, I'm a Cleveland Browns fan, Bill. So I know we know all about lean years. We have a lean year, about 40 of the last 50 years at least. So we know all about lean years.
Anyway, the future's bright up there too, right? They can bring
Sure. Yeah. That's the most optimistic thing I've heard all day. But
yeah.
Hey, listen, I really appreciate having you. Right before the show here, we're really excited to be at ConnexFM in Orlando and bring our first call group team, and appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule with the show right around the corner. And hey, I'll see you in Orlando in just a couple weeks here.
Awesome. Safe travel. See you soon, Rob.
Thanks so much, Bill.
Thanks.